Hello, and welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show. We're going to kick tonight off with a trivia question. I know I've asked this one before, but it's been a while. So, there are 3 artists that exist who sold 1 million records with the group and 1 million records solo. Can you name one of them, John?
Michael Jackson.
Yes, correct. How about you, Damon? Can you name another one?
Oh, not off the top of my head. Pass.
Brian?
No idea.
Jay?
Phil Collins.
Yep, that's 2. We got 1 more. John?
Got to be big solo and big from a group. Paul McCartney.
Ooh. There you go. There we go. We have the 3.
You know what I was going to say if it wasn't Paul McCartney? I had my boy from the Commodores locked and loaded.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Lionel Richie? I mean, I would think he has sold 1 million copies.
Well, maybe. I
10,
wonder who was more successful, the Commodores or Lionel? I think Lionel was.
I would say Lionel
Lionel was more successful.
Yeah. And the Commodores had a couple that were big mainstream hits, but man, Lionel just killed.
Top 10, you can name probably 3 or 4 Lionels, maybe 5. Commodores,
you could probably name that off of the second album.
Right, but that's the thing. Commodores, you can name like 2, maybe 3.
I mean, big songs. Big
Right.
Commodore songs.
Brick House, obviously the biggest. Sail On.
Well, no. You know what their biggest song was?
What?
Night Shift. Out Lionel Richie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. By the way, if you've never seen that, see it. It is hysterical. It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life.
Night Shift.
You ever seen it?
Yes, it is.
No,
With Henry Winkler?
Yeah, but that
in the
had
movie.
nothing to do with the movie.
But it was in the movie, wasn't it?
No.
You sure?
It was.
I think it
was
was.
about Marvin Gaye.
Yes.
I
It
could have
was
sworn
Marvin
that
Gaye
Night Shift
after he
was
died.
in the movie.
I think Night Shift came after the movie Night Shift.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
We're
But
going way back.
That was a tribute to Marvin Gaye, and he died in 83. I think he was killed in 83, or maybe it was 82.
When did that movie come out? 79?
No, that was 81, 82. Maybe 83. That was the first time we saw Michael Keaton in a feature role.
Yes, and he was hysterical.
I don't think that was Ron Howard's first directorial thing, but it was one of his early films that he directed. And, of course, Mr. Henry Winkler, coming off of Happy Days, did that one.
Well, Night Shift, the song was actually a double shot because that was a nod to Marvin and also Jackie Wilson. Because Jackie,
that's right. It was Jackie Wilson. I don't know when Jackie Wilson died, though.
Yeah,
I thought Jackie Wilson died like in the old timey days, before me, but maybe not. I don't know. She is Googling and fact checking this.
No, I'm not trying to prove anybody wrong.
No, I don't know.
Night Shift movie, okay. Film's opening theme, Night Shift by Quarter Flash, okay.
Okay, wrong Night Shift.
Yeah, wrong Night Shift. Closing theme song was That's What Friends Are For.
Really?
It gained, yeah.
What year did the film come out? 45?
Let's see. 1982.
That's What Friends Are For, not the Dionne Warwick Elton John train wreck.
That's What Friends Are For was written by Burt Bacharach, Carol Bayer Sager, performed by Rod Stewart.
Okay.
It gained popularity a few years later when covered by Warwick, John, Knight, and Stevie Wonder.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So we got a preview of that song. Huh.
Well, to answer your question about Jackie Wilson, he died in 84.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because when
for some reason I always put that together, that they were together. Wow.
Stuff from way, way, way back. Did he do anything in the 70s or 80s?
I think of him as 60s.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like early 60s.
Well, I mean, he was born in 34, so, I mean.
Right. But did Jackie Wilson do anything in the 70s?
Which makes him very young, for what it's worth, everyone. From someone born in 1934, I can tell you that is a young age. Just saying.
For people watching the show 20 years from now.
I'm thinking Jackie Wilson becomes like Jackie Wilson, Otis Redding,
Sam
Benny
Cooke.
King, Sam Cooke,
Same.
Donny Hathaway to a certain extent.
Well, Donny Hathaway was primarily 70s.
No, he was. But I'm saying there's a list of artists in my head that are like, oh, there's a flow chart. Like, oh, this is older, gets newer.
But you're right, Jackie Wilson and
I think of him as Sam, like John said,
Sam Cooke. I think of those guys in the
Otis
same.
Redding, and that's 60s into the early 70s.
Yeah.
Otis is 70s primarily, I think, isn't he? Maybe not.
Thought he had stuff in the 60s now.
Probably did. Damon's doing his
A lot
research.
of them did. Well, the start of Motown was, what, 62?
59.
Yeah, further back. Yeah, I remember the first couple.
Money was the first big thing they did. Money, that's what I
I
want.
see Eric is now piping in here. Eric is alive. A lot of us were planning to go to your funeral next week. We don't have to.
Yeah.
Night Shift was released in 85. Okay, 3 Times a Lady. That's a good one.
Okay.
You guys rock. Perfect. That's another comment from Eric. You guys are amazing. Without you in my life, I don't know that I could do this. It's a point in my day every day that really I crawl towards, at which point I feel I can stand because of the effect you have on me.
Yeah.
Very heartfelt.
The best part is, no, the audience will never see the chat.
Right.
I made up everything I just said.
Really? Oh, wow. That's crazy.
It's nuts. What's new in the music world? I just want to make one quick comment.
Yeah.
I've seen 3 videos in the last 2 days on AC/DC, who's on tour right now, stadium tour in the United States, Oh America. I understand that Brian Johnson is 77 and that Angus is 70. They're playing and sounding probably 10 times better than I expected them to either sound, play, run around the stage. They're in a stadium stage. Angus is running up and down that, show-off ramp that bands put up in the front. But here's
Is he still doing that weird Chuck Berry thing?
not to the extent he used to.
Okay.
He's still doing it, but not to the same extent. He's 70. He did it.
Does he still wear little boy shorts?
He does, Brian. And I can send you photos.
It's great.
He's got the schoolboy uniform. He looks and sounds amazing, but I've seen them 3 times, 80, 82, and 99. And in 99, I remember seeing them 26 years ago saying, wow, Angus isn't doing the head banging like he used to, as deep. But, he's a little bit older. He's 20 years older than last time I saw him. I get it. But then I see this, and I'm like, wait a second. He's not that much off from what he did 26 years ago.
It's an interesting thing that you just brought up, because I've had this thought a lot. When it comes to these legacy acts, I'm very happy that many of them are able to go out and do what they're able to do. It's inspiring that Paul McCartney's able to do what he's able to do, and Aerosmith, up until recently, was able to do what they were able to do, and AC/DC's doing it. But man, I don't know. You can never.
Oh no!
You know what I'm saying?
The dark cloud is coming over us.
Dark cloud, yes. I'm sorry.
Here we are.
But I'm just saying.
I need water.
Maybe.
I know where this is going. I think it's time to hang it up when you can't do it.
It's like dating the girl in high school when you're in high school versus dating her now.
Is she hot though?
Chick.
But is she still hot?
It doesn't matter.
And I say that having gone to an all-boy high school.
It's a different vibe.
It's totally a different vibe, Brian. But they're doing a 2.5-hour show at their age.
Right. If we saw them and they were tuned down a full step and playing in 3/4 time, and say it's time to hang it up.
It's time to hang it up.
But they're just going all.
They're literally just going for it. And the funniest part about it, Brian, is, and I agree with you 100%. When bands hit that point, and it's like an arc. You get to that point where you're like, this band sounds amazing. They're doing, and then they start to go down the other side of the roller coaster, and you're like, no one wants to see your favorite band and look back on it and go, man, last time I saw them 10 years ago, they were great. They were really good this time. And I agree.
No, like seeing Phil Collins, like sitting in a chair.
Right, exactly.
Singing those songs is going to be heartbreaking. It's like, oh,
100%.
Man.
Ann Wilson of Heart is touring right now. She just got through cancer treatment. She's in a wheelchair.
Wow.
She still sounds really good on stage, but if you go see her, she's wheeled out in a wheelchair. And there is that question of, should you wait till you can stand, or should you... And I mean, I think... Obviously, we all understand it comes down to one simple thing. It's a business.
Yeah.
If people say, hey, Ann, we understand you just got done with cancer treatment, you don't have any hair, really? She has super short black hair. Like, what do you think if we give you like 50 grand a night? You think you could go on tour? And Ann goes, sure. I mean,
and your doctors are like, yeah,
last week there was an incident with a band called The Who. And the incident was they were doing a song, and the lead singer, Mr. Daltrey, stopped twice and said on stage, all I can hear is the drums. The end of the night, there was a press release from The Who saying, after 30 years, we have decided to part ways with our drummer, Zach Starkey. We wish him the best. That's it. Zach Starkey's Ringo Starr's son.
Kid. Yeah.
Ringo Starr's son is fired from The Who. That was last Monday. 2 days ago, or 3 days ago, Pete Townsend comes out of nowhere and goes, I just want to announce that Zach Starkey is our drummer moving forward. But here's the thing.
Cranky old guys just
Roger Daltrey is 81 years old.
Yeah.
He's admitted to, I have a tough time hearing, and now I'm losing my vision.
Oh, he probably just got the wrong in-ear mix. You know, they just sent him the wrong mix, and he's like, all I can hear is
that's
drums.
it.
Like,
so he freaked out,
right?
And he's half of the band, and after 30 years, he still has enough power to at least fire you, but you're going to come back.
I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm thinking about me, and I'm out DJing, and that's fine. But if I had made my nut, I think I have other hobbies I'd like to pursue.
Well, and that's the other thing.
DJing once in a while, but
100%.
When you're in your 80s and you're out touring, okay, what was all the work for?
I think they can't get rid of that lifestyle. By the way, what I wanted to say about AC/DC is they're one of the three bands.
I thought we were off AC/DC.
No, real quick. They're one of the three bands on the planet Earth that any of us can name. And I'm challenging you to find me wrong. They're one of the three bands right now on the planet Earth that can sell out a stadium. Not a theater, not an arena, a stadium.
One of three bands.
In my opinion, there are three bands on the planet Earth that can launch a tour playing football-sized stadiums and selling them out.
There's
the other two.
Three.
Yeah,
there's more than three.
No, there isn't. There isn't. Because nobody's. No, Brian. Don't think of, hey, look, it's, friggin' Imagine Dragons with 17 other bands that are all credible.
No, I'm thinking about Metallica. I'm thinking about...
That's one.
Right. I'm thinking about Taylor Swift. I mean, she's doing crazy stuff.
She doesn't, in this context, okay, I will say four bands then, because I did not think of her in this context.
Okay.
Because we're talking rock.
I'll say Queen.
No, Queen could not sell out a stadium.
Not Freddie.
Nope.
No, Def Leppard.
AC/DC, the Stones.
Yeah, the Stones.
Taylor Swift.
Paul McCartney could too, though.
Metallica. But he's not touring stadiums.
No, he's doing,
he's doing what they call arenas, really, like 20,000. Could he sell out an LA 80,000 seat show once? Sure. Last time he played here was the Greek. That's 18,000.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm saying he's not doing it.
Okay.
That's my point. AC/DC's not playing, 1,200 people in Milwaukee, and you're saying,
no,
geez, guys, time to hang it up. So in their respect, the money is the issue. I think it's always the money, though.
I thought it was really interesting with Grace Slick from every incarnation of Jefferson there was.
The most respect for that woman.
What was she? She was in her late 30s, early 40s when she said, "Yeah, I'm done. There's nothing cool about an old lady on stage."
Nope, she walked.
Rock and roll, I'm done. And if you see her now, she looks like your aunt or your mom or whatever, and she's just cool with that. You know,
I'll tell stories off the show about her, like a personal story involving Grace Slick, and she is, nothing but class for Grace. Yeah. I got a story on her, and she's just a class act.
She knew when to say when.
Yeah, 100%. But she stood on her own 2 feet about it. Like, you know what? Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. And I think you're right, Brian. I think the quote was, no one wants to see an old lady on stage.
In rock and roll.
It is in
right.
rock and roll.
And she was probably in her early 40s.
No one wants to see an old lady rock on stage. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
It was something like that, but it was, and she was right. I mean.
Well, it's, you know what? You're opening the door to a conversation I've wanted to have for a long time. If anyone has gone to see the band Foreigner in the last 20 years, you could argue, well, gee, I saw Foreigner and Mick Jones was on stage. Okay, he's one of the original founding members. He's actually started the band. But that was the only member.
You were with me when you saw Lou Gramm, right?
And he was amazing.
You were with me with Lou Gramm, right?
I was with you, and he was amazing.
Brian and I sat together and watched that show.
Yes, and he was amazing.
Oh, yeah, that was crazy good.
And that was 2013, 14?
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that? I didn't miss Mick Jones. I wasn't sitting there saying, gee, it'd be better if Mick Jones was here.
No.
Because Lou Gramm was good, and his band was good. I think his brother was the drummer, if I remember correctly. His brother was playing the drums.
Yes, he was. He introduced him. Band sounded great.
Yeah, Lou wasn't jumping around stage.
He'd had 2 strokes, brain surgery. His voice was perfect. If you see him at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame last year, he sounds amazing. He's actually touring with Foreigner in Central and South America, doing like 4 or 5 songs.
Is it because their singer had a problem? Because he's filling in for their singer or something weird like that?
Here's the deal. Kelly is their new singer, who's been Journey for a minute. Kelly's been with Foreigner for like 22, 23 years.
Okay.
Kelly has now decided to pull back a little bit. Lou is coming in with Kelly, and then they've got this guy, something Maldonado, who's one of the guitarists. I just saw him play live in L.A. He sounds exactly like a Lou Gramm impersonator. So they really technically have 3 guys that can cut it. Right. I showed you guys that one night. Dean Castronova, the drummer for Journey, he could sing the whole show and do Steve Perry.
He sounds like Steve Perry, yeah.
Exactly. And that's
just like how Phil Collins sounded like Peter Gabriel back in the olden days before we even knew Peter Gabriel was a member of Genesis.
Right. But this is a new phenomenon, and it's funny we brought up Journey. It started with Journey. Journey reached out and said, look, we have a guy that's on YouTube.
Just like you brought up AC/DC. It wasn't
See, I've worked it back in.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
There's this guy from the Philippines doing Journey.
Yeah, the karaoke guy, yeah.
Right. So he joins Journey. He's been with the band now for like 28 years, touring arenas, playing their stuff. There was a movie called Rockstar. It was not loosely, it was 100% based on Judas Priest when Tim Ripper Owens was in a cover band or a tribute band, then got called up to join Judas Priest and did 2 albums and probably 4 tours. Am I right, John, on that?
They did release a record with him. It's.
I think it was 2, wasn't it?
Not revered in the Judas Priest community, but Ripper Owens is good. I mean, he's a good singer.
Ripper's still touring now with Iced Earth. He's done stuff with Yngwie. I mean, it ultimately comes down to one thing. We grew up in an era of, here's the band, you can name everyone. Now it's, here's the band, insert whoever we need to go on tour and make money.
There's a lot of that, and there's always been a lot of that. I mean, especially...
It's worse now, though, don't you think?
I don't know if it's worse now. Maybe they're playing bigger shows than they used to, but here in Milwaukee, we have Summerfest, the world's largest music festival. And we always have these acts that come on. It's like, well, didn't they all die? And it's like featuring a roadie. from the 1978 tour of whatever the band is.
Like you said, a band can get away with it, but a solo act can't. You can't say tonight, here's the Blackhearts, and someone's going to sing Joan's part. It's like, that's not going to fly. You need her up there.
Well, at that point, you have to be just the Blackhearts. You know what I mean?
Going to play all instrumentals.
Singer, unless you're Eddie Van Halen, Randy Rhoads, Angus Young, and that's really about it, you have to be the singer. Like Van Halen proved that. They're like, hey, here's Van Halen with David Lee Roth. And all of a sudden, one day, Dave wasn't there. Sammy Hagar came in and it's like, hey, we're still Van Halen, and here's our new stuff. And it was amazing.
Same with AC/DC. You really want to double back. It's like, one day, the singer was through.
Right, exactly. Well, and that's the argument about Brian's not an original member. Angus is. Angus is the only original member of AC/DC on tour. Cliff Williams
isn't he like really short?
Angus? Oh, yeah. He's like 5'1", 5 foot.
Yeah, he's a little bitty guy.
He's tiny.
I saw him with his bodyguard, and his bodyguard was like 4 times his size. Like, what?
Well, and here's
how small he was. I saw him next to another guy.
He's super rich because he writes everything. Oh, yeah. He's been married for like 45
Australian
years.
dollar, too, so.
He owns property all over the world. He doesn't drink, do any drugs, smoke weed, none of that. He drinks tea, and he chain smokes cigarettes. That's his thing. I mean, so technically, Brian could join AC/DC tomorrow if we had to. Well, I mean, if Angus goes down, I mean, I'm thinking throw Brian in there.
Yeah, I can do it. So
you don't drink.
Yeah.
No drugs. You smoke.
That's about it. Yeah, that's
if you could go like this.
Yep.
Yeah, only if I had a hand to strum a guitar, that would.
You know what? If I'll teach you a couple chords, you'll be fine.
AC/DC could always use a little more tambourine. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you can do triangle,
yeah.
You can do triangle.
Well, no, you need 2 hands for that. This is hanging.
Shit. Well, no, that's the whole thing. We'll have him hanging on stage.
Hang it up on something.
Right next to the bell from like for those to rock.
Stand. I tell you what, I never like, and I run across this stuff a lot. When I'm looking on YouTube for something, a song is from a band doesn't have to be a super old band. It could be a band even from the 90s or something. And I see, here's a recent live performance from them. And they're playing it like 3-4 scales down from where they played it before because the singer can't hit the notes anymore.
Yeah.
And I don't know. At that point, I think if I were an act and I couldn't hit my notes anymore, I think maybe I might knock it off. And you mentioned this, Jay, a long time ago with Ann Wilson. So when she was doing, I remember you mentioning it. When she was writing songs, she was trying to do things that she always felt like she could hit the notes with.
Yeah, she wrote in keys that she knew she could sing long term. That was her quote. Like, how does your voice stay together? She's like, because I wrote things back in the day with the intention of, this has got to be comfortable. I want to be able to sing this in 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, she knew she was going to be a legacy. Yeah, and that's crazy.
John Bon Jovi, not so much. His voice is blown out.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you think you can get on stage every night and scream like in your throat, not from your diaphragm, but in your throat, and expect that to go. That was always my thing with Aerosmith. Like, Tyler just kept going.
Yeah.
And even at his age now, I mean, he had a larynx accident issue where he fell and hit his larynx, but he just did a thing at the Grammys where he was singing like half of 3 different songs with Nuno Bettencourt and some other people and Tom Hamilton, and he needed a backup. So the question is, can he sing? Yeah, I guess technically. Can he tour? No. He can't do an hour and a half, 2-hour show.
Right. He straight up vocal. No marathons. Yeah.
No, he can come out and join someone else on stage. And I think there's a level of frustration. Can you imagine, Brian, if your life was this constant whirlwind and one day it's like, okay, stop. What do you mean? Like, you're not on stage. That's got to be the biggest addiction on the planet. I would think it would be amazing to, at the end of the night, walk away and be like, I just had 30,000 people screaming for me. I mean, how do you give that up after 30, 40, 50 years of doing it? It's got to be incredibly hard.
Okay,
From not only a physical, but a mental.
I'm looking here just for fun. I'm looking here. It sounds like, and I'm just trying to talk about something other than Aerosmith or AC/DC, that Jackie Wilson had some R&B hits, and the last one he had was 1972, with the She Likes Backing Him on vocals, and it was called "You Got Me Walking." So it wasn't even a top 40 hit; it was an R&B hit.
Yeah.
And he's from Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie's from Detroit.
Yes, but was not
born there.
Motown artist.
He lived in Detroit, not born there.
I think he was born there.
It says born.
No, he was born in Boston.
He was born in Highland Park, Michigan, fool.
I believe it was Highland Park, Boston. 1-7. Seriously, come on. 01219. Come on, just show Charlestown some love.
I was just
you need that tat, John, by the way, from every episode. You need to hold your arm, have the Irish flag, Massachusetts outline, and then have the tat from Southie.
Just space for rent, just write down with the sleeve, the flag.
Gloss Elias now and Slaughter. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
White guys, national pride. There's a great combination right there.
I tell you right there. Well, hey, what marathon just happened a couple days ago, kid? Yeah, that's right.
They ran past my house a few days ago.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Well, hey.
They blocked out the street.
I heard three marathoners were trapped in front of your house.
People actually run marathons in places other than Boston.
Yeah. I don't think so. No,
I know. It's hard to believe.
I question that, sir. I really question that. Yeah. No, I think it's fascinating to me. I would love to sit down with the management of a band and find out the mechanics. Like, I represent a famous band. Okay. So it's April. Okay. How does touring work? Do promoters call me and say, hey, we'd like you to play Milwaukee? Oh, okay. Let me see what's going on. And then my management looks around and says, hey, everything within 100 miles, contact all those cities and say, hey, we might be there in June. Oh, okay. Well, we'd like to pay you. Like, the process still fascinates me.
Yeah.
I think that's why, like, AC/DC is doing 6 days off between gigs. And everyone's like, what are you doing? You could play like every other day. No, they can't. They're too old. They're smart. They know. Take the time off. They just played Minnesota. They played Texas. They played LA. That's 3 weeks of gigs. 3 gigs. But how does it work for bands? I really want to understand that. I've got a band. We can play 2,000 to 5,000 people.
My understanding is there are bands that do tour seasons, and they'll announce a few dates that their agent will book, and then sometimes there's a secondary agent in a market who
says, "Hey, I saw you're playing here.
Would you like to play here?" Mm-hmm.
But Brian, what's the genesis? Is the genesis the band or the agents? Meaning, does the band's agent go, okay, guys, you want to tour this summer? Yeah, we do. Great. Let me call around. Hey,
ultimately the agent does it. But
they introduce it.
Dictates yes or no. Like,
that part I get, but
or it says yes or no. But the agent, I think, is
do promoters
Promoters are the ones who come in after the agent books and says promote the show.
If we know we can draw 5,000 people, we're going to be in this geographic bubble. What venues can hold 5,000? And let's see if they're interested in having us, because we have a date open on the calendar.
Well, but that's the thing, John.
We're a city away,
It's changed now with Live Nation. Live Nation owns most of the venues, so they get paid there, and they own, a lot of promotions. So they're getting paid on 2 or 3 different angles. But how does that work for the band? Like Don Law was a Boston booking agent. He would book you to play the Boston Garden. So Don Law presents Ted Nugent with, UFO and Kick Tracy or whatever. It always has fascinated me. If you're just sitting at home one day and the phone rings, hello, oh, hey, what's up? Oh, yeah, I'd like to tour from now till I die. What do you got? Well, there's a thing in Milwaukee, but who found that? Did Milwaukee call? Because I've hired big acts.
Okay, so
and I had to call their management. I had to find them.
I just worked with a cat who used to do all the bookings for Northern Lights Theater at Potawatomi, and it was like a 5,000 seat theater.
Right.
So they would get a lot of legacy artists that would come through there, and a lot of them were pretty impressive. But are they touring this summer? Okay, we would like to have them here. What dates are they available? And then you find a date, and then the show gets promoted through the promotional.
Right.
So because he did that. I mean, he was the booking agent for. He did all of that stuff. Like he would bring them in, and
I totally get that.
Secondary type.
I used to go see bands at the San Diego Sports Arena, which is like a 15,000 seat venue. And the reason I had a contact was when I was on the boats, I needed to book Brian Setzer Orchestra. And in 1999, without the internet being what it is today, I'm like, and being an idiot, I'm like, okay, what should I do? I can't call Brian Setzer. Okay, I know. I'll find someone that knows him or knows who his management is.
Call his agent.
Well, where does he play? There's no Facebook. There's no MySpace. There's no nothing.
Yeah.
I know. I'll call the San Diego Sports Arena. And I call and I say, can I speak to who's ever in charge of booking? Yes, it's Jim. Hey, Jim, I'm Jay Brand. I'm over here in the boats, yada, 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 blah, 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 10 minutes. I said, hey, by the way, I'm trying to get Brian Setzer for a client. Do you have any contacts? Oh, yeah, Brian's with, the Brian S. Red group, and they cover 200 bands. Oh, great. Do you have their number? Sure. Hi, Brian S. Red group. Hey, I'm Jay. I'm trying to do this thing. Brian Setzer. Oh, okay. What do you have? And it became like a very simple one-to-one. I doubt it's that way today. But I've always been curious if bands are like, because if I have any skill or talent to tour, I'd want to go tour.
Well, we should research and do a show on it sometime.
Well, because now it's also what's called fly dates. Like everyone does weekends. And
well, okay, so Brian keeps
who sets that up?
Brian keeps seeing Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Yeah, Tiffany's management booking them, or how's that work?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've asked Tiffany to play here, actually. She said, but you had to contact her management. So,
but see, that tells me that you need to hire her. Versus, because Tiffany's past touring.
Well, you're like a promoter at that point, so you go and you say,
yeah, you could contact her management.
And Tiffany says, I need a guarantee of 10 grand, and you're like, no problem. And then you sell tickets for a total of 50 grand. You got an overhead of 10 grand. You profit 20 grand after you pay her or pay the tickets, or 30 grand or whatever. Maybe that's how it works. I don't know.
We got to cover the back line. Sometimes you have to cover
whatever
the hotel, and travel. That part of it I know because I've done it. Yeah. But it's still fascinating. Like I said, it just fascinates me that it has changed so dramatically now where bands are physically on the phone going, hey, how you doing? This is Sully from Godsmack. Yeah, I'd like to play the Madison Square Garden sometime in June.
Well, okay.
What do you got? Because you know what? You don't need to pay 20% to managers, 15% to the agent, 10% to the tour. Like you can physically, like if Brian and I write a song tonight, we have a huge hit on TikTok tomorrow and it sells 200 million. Boom, we can now call places.
The other thing that's different now, too, is that touring is the main income for the band.
100%.
Where there was a time when you would do a record, and you would release the record, and then your agent would encourage you to go on tour to support the record.
Yep.
So, I mean, that was the thing. And now, nobody buys the record.
Right.
So you have to go on tour to make your money, and maybe that's part of the reason why the tickets are expensive.
What are these record things you keep speaking of?
Oh, yeah.
What's a record?
It's the horse in front of the cart that isn't there anymore.
Old-timey days.
The order of things. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you were here, Brian, but There's a guy I follow on YouTube, and he broke down a band who was very upfront about playing an arena somewhere in England, and they had sold out 16,000 seats. And at the top of the chart, it was band pay $197,314, something like that. And then they took the expenses. The manager took 20% of that, so he got his $20,000. The agent got his 15%, not of what was left, but of the 200. So that was 30. So immediately the band dropped to 150.
Right.
Then they had to pay for the venue. Then they had to pay for this, the trucks, the hotels.
Right.
The end of the chart, and this was an actual contract. It wasn't a made up thing. The band, 5-piece band, split 35,000. Now I look at that and say, dude, you got $7,000 for playing? Like, that's amazing. But if the band knew, and I guarantee they do, that their payday was 200 grand, it's got to be that give and take with management of, guys, come on, made 200,000. Why am I getting 7?
Right.
160,000 is the cost of doing business.
And then you wonder why you want to make an attitude. It's like, yeah, give me a freaking drink now, fool. well, yeah, because
and by the way, I paid for the drink.
Make it.
Yeah.
I paid for the cold cut tray,
minus catering,
and I paid for the booze, and I paid for the white piano and the leopard, and
well, that's when the sponsorships come in from certain areas and stuff like that. You help them pay for shit.
You sell any T-shirts?
Yeah,
sell some T-shirts.
Yeah, merchandising.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating thing because it's called the music business for a reason. Our end of it is the music, but the reality is the majority of it is probably more on the business side.
I really like our end of things. I really do. We can be just blissfully ignorant on all this stuff.
We can.
Yeah, we are the end user. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting to me.
Sort of.
I might be alone in this, but it is. The whole industry thing just kind of fascinating. I mean, here's Damon in Detroit with Movement coming up next month. Every one of those DJs gets paid. Okay. Well, who's negotiating? How does that work out? Because whatever they're getting paid, 20% comes off the top for management, 15%. Well, chances are
they all have management.
They all have management.
Well, okay, because I'm just thinking to myself, I do not have management, and somebody else I know that is in the entertainment business and does not have management is Jay Leno. He has no management. Jay Leno does it all himself.
He could, yeah. He keeps it all.
He's had management, and it hasn't worked out the way he liked it. So he pays nobody but himself.
Well, he's at a level, though, I think that, because I know for a fact, I've read an article that tapped into a contract of his. He did a gig one night where he finished the Tonight Show, flew to Vegas, did a corporate clients event, then flew back to L.A. He got $109,000 for that gig.
Yeah.
Like hour and a half, 109. It was, I don't remember the company. Fortune 500, huge corporation.
Sure.
And I mean, if you can get to that level, I won't name the band, but all of us know it. John and I have played their songs a bunch of times, and I have spoken to the lead singer a couple times, and my buddy is really good friends with the band.
Name dropping without name dropping. This is interesting.
I don't want to start a slaughter here, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah.
But they're they've done the Jay Leno route. They're like, you know what?
The corporate gigs.
The labels dropped. We're not in that realm. But when we play, this is what we want. And they've worked it up to a really good number for one night. And they're not paying 20%, 15%, and 9%. So by the end of the 2-hour gig on a Thursday in Nashua, New Hampshire, with 4 members of the band, there's 3 guys probably getting, $4,000 each.
Well, all these legacy
one guy getting the bulk.
all these legacy acts, it's a perfect storm for them. If they're able to do it, great. Their fan base at this point of their lives have disposable income and are
100%.
not afraid to dump stupid money on concert tickets.
I think you and I had this conversation at least 15 years ago when the Eagles played Vegas and the tickets were like 300 and change. And you and I talked about how the Eagle fan base from the 70s of stoners hanging out were now lawyers and doctors who for $300 would go relive their youth.
Whatever. They're spending more than that on dinner that night.
Right.
Yep, the wife and
so it was like, what's the big deal?
It's a bar tab.
Right. The downside is
time, because they're in their 60s now, but
100%.
or at the time in their 50s. But it's that generation. My siblings are older than I am, and most of my siblings are incredibly successful. They can do whatever they want to do, and they have FU money to spend on that kind of stuff. It's their turn to go out and do those things. Maybe they couldn't afford to do it when they were teenagers or they were in their 20s because they were trying to get established. But now they're more than established. They got money to burn. So they're going to spend that kind of money on Aerosmith tickets or on Eagles tickets or on Jackson Brown tickets or whatever. Or Slaughter. I mean, maybe some of these 80s rock bands,
Right.
And then there's Brian with disposable income spending money on Tiffany and Debbie Gibson.
Well, it's not that kind of money.
And what does that lead you to? That leads you to the phenomenon that is the tribute act.
Because it led you to that.
Well, it led me to that because now for $25, I can go have a night with a Def Leppard, Aerosmith, and whatever other band. And for 2 or 3 hours, hang out and hear songs I know delivered pretty much the way I know them.
Yeah.
By acts that are interchangeable members who at best are dressing up like
the tribute act or the cover band, if you will. That's been around forever.
Oh, it has.
And many of the real bands that like the real bands, started out as cover bands.
Right.
Like Van Halen. Yeah, they were a cover band.
Steel Panther was a Van Halen cover band.
Beatles were a cover band.
I opened for Atomic Punks, which is Steel Panther now, like 15 times at a club in San Diego. They would play, I would be the opener, playing just 80s rock, 90s rock on CD, and then out would come Atomic Punk with 2 members of Steel Panther. But my point, Brian, is if I'm going to spend $20, $25, $30, if I go see a Huey Lewis tribute band, I know I'm going to know every song. They're going to do their best to emulate the band.
Right.
And I'm going to leave really happy. And I think that's it's been around forever. You're right. But it's different now. I don't know about Milwaukee, but I'm sure it's similar to California. Most places around here, including casinos and everything else, 2, 3, 4 nights a week, they'll have tribute packages. When I was at Paula, the casino, 8 years ago, I only headlined above a tribute. It was, hey, we're doing a Tom Petty tribute for 2 hours, then Jay plays. Hey, it's Journey, then Jay. Like, I closed the night, but the first 2 hours was a full-on tribute, and it really went over well, and I understand it. I'd go pay $30 to see a good Prince tribute because I know what I'm going to get.
Funny you mentioned that the guy who used to do all the bookings at Pato, that's what he does now primarily. He's the tour manager for a big Prince tribute act. That tours all
the guy from Vegas?
No, the guy from here who used to.
No. I mean, is his? Oh, he's not repping the guy that's in Vegas that's been at Westgate.
I don't know
that
if he's
guy's
repping that guy.
Phenomenal.
I don't know if he's repping that guy or not, but it's he's the tour manager for a big Prince tribute act, and I think the Purple Rain, REIGHM.
Yeah, that's the guy in Vegas.
Yeah, that's. I think that's Todd.
The guy's amazing. I've seen him.
Todd, yeah.
He was at Tropicana and Westgate.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know where he is now, but he's really good. Like you think you're seeing Prince.
But yeah, they've traveled all over the place doing this stuff.
Oh yeah,
they've done Europe, whatever.
Because you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get the music the way you want it. It's that suspension of time too, because you're getting prime. Like he's dressed like Prince from 1999 video, Purple Rain, like that period that everyone is the sweet spot for non-huge fans. The Prince casual fan, that's really, I mean, let's be honest. The Prince casual fan ends late 80s. They don't know that 90s stuff. They're not really that sure early stuff.
I don't know. That was that girl stuff, perhaps.
Well, yeah, but when was that? 90?
That was 92.
Yeah.
91.
And here we are in 2025. You're going back 32 years.
90.
So 35 years. I mean, you're going to get what you remember. Yeah. You're going to get that vibe of, oh my God, he's doing, Computer Blue. I forgot this song.
The cool thing about, an artist like that, you hover right around the 1999 Purple Rain album, but anytime you step out of it, people still know it. It's like, Side of the Time stuff. Oh, that's
100%.
Oh, yeah. Controversy. That's cool. Oh,
Money Don't Matter.
That's cool.
Greatest song ever. Yep. Still there. I saw my buddy as the lead singer of a Huey Lewis tribute band called The Heart of Rock and Roll. Amazing. 90-minute show I went to. I could sing, and it shocked even me. Every single song he played, I knew the words to.
Yeah.
And I walked away going, how the hell did I know every song in 90 minutes? But I forgot that's the kind of artist Huey Lewis was.
And the News.
Well, yes. John Young, yes.
And it was on MTV every 5 minutes, so you.
But I've seen. Have you guys ever seen tributes? I've seen Def. I've seen Aerosmith, Led Zeppelin, Doors, and I walked away going, I had a really good time. Like I was singing along, like this is a great show. I knew it wasn't Jim Morrison or Steven Tyler, but I did walk away going, this was amazing. I'm friends with the lead singer of a Billy Joel tribute. They do really well in this area. They're from LA. I mean, you walk away at the end of the night going, that's exactly what I needed. And I only spent $50 to get in.
We've got about 10 minutes left. And John and I were talking about something the other night. Jay was not here for it. Let's see if Jay can nail this one. He might be able to.
What do you got? Aerosmith song's Dream On.
It's got nothing to do with
my favorite. Okay, I'm just saying.
Not circling back to AC/DC.
All right, if you're following our pattern,
Joe Bonamassa.
Is he here?
No. Or Slaughter or whatever you were talking about. So, can you think of an artist, a musician, that was huge, absolutely huge, that you can't name one song from?
John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. Thank you.
I know at least one song. Two.
There's two.
All right, Captain Beefheart would be my first choice.
Captain Beefheart wasn't huge.
Well, but what are you judging huge by? Like popularity?
Massive.
Okay.
Name.
Okay. Give me a
amazing.
Moment.
Can't name one track. And probably don't have one track in your music library.
On my library.
Because John and I don't. We don't have one track by this artist. Yet this artist was absolutely massive.
Okay.
And now we've explored this artist and we're saying, ooh, this is kind of cool. We should probably get some of this stuff.
Are we talking stuff like Emerson, Lake and Palmer?
No.
Jethro Tull?
I came up with the second one too, Brian, so I'll give you the second one after we talk about the first one, because I bet you don't have any of this artist.
Okay. So,
this is an artist that was huge.
Huge.
That I probably don't have.
You probably don't have any of their music.
But I know they were huge.
And there's two hints.
You know they were huge.
There's two softball hints.
You know exactly what they look like.
Yeah, give me a softball hint.
There's no softball hint on this.
Dresses like Elvis.
Yeah, dresses like Elvis.
Plays like Elton.
Plays like Elton.
Shit. Slade? No.
Liberace.
Liberace.
Ding, ding. We have a winner.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't have any. No, actually, you know what? I take that back. I know for a fact I have a Liberace song in my drive. I played at a gay hotel for a number of years. I actually did get a Liberace song.
We pulled up some old 1950s.
Yeah, Liberace was the highest paid entertainer in Las Vegas in 1955, higher than Elvis. He got paid more per night.
We pulled up some old footage from him playing on TV in the 1950s.
Oh, huge.
So we went down the rabbit hole of Liberace because neither one of us knew much about him.
I love Liberace.
So
did you go to the Oprah one, by the way, where he talks about getting married?
I'm trying to talk.
Someday?
What are you saying?
Okay.
So 1937, the guy pops up as a musician doing something. But then people really start talking about him in the 50s because of television. You can see this. And man, is that guy... That guy is Eddie Van Halen on a piano.
Yeah.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yep.
John has the second one, and I don't know what it is. So
I did, because we'll all know the name, and we'll be like, I struggled to come up with the song.
Wayne Newton.
I get some Wayne. I was thinking more along the line of Luciano Pavarotti. It's like...
Oh, I got a Pavarotti.
I've got like a greatest hits for weddings that I recommend. People don't come to me and say, I want to hear this Pavarotti song. It's like, listen to some of these and tell me if you like one. And they go, I like this one.
Wasn't there a collection called Four Tenors that was big back then?
Yes, Brian, you are correct. Yeah, he was in Four Tenors.
Was Bocelli in there too? Andrea Bocelli?
So. And Segovia.
But you need to listen to his version with James Brown of "It's a Man's World."
Oh my God!
How'd you go there? Well, how'd you go there? Seriously, you couldn't have gone to his Dream On with Steven Tyler. Why'd you got to go to the James Brown one? I'm just saying.
Or his.
Good thing this is a podcast; they can't see us.
Bob Roy did Big Balls. It was really good. Awesome.
AC/DC. That's a great
Big Balls. Yeah, Bob Roy.
He still sounds the same on stage, but they slow him down to 3/4 time, and he sings a key lower.
Not with AC/DC, damn it. They're going 8/440.
But he's saying the Italian version of it, so it doesn't even sound like it. It's just
don't even kid yourself. 8/440 all day, kids. No drops in this thing. We're doing a C flat. Wait, what? How the hell did you get from E to C?
I think that's just...
No, Liberace totally makes sense. I mean, there's that great photo. We've all seen it.
Milwaukee metro area, West Allen.
He is. His brother George, who we mentioned constantly.
I wish my brother George was here.
Yeah. Exactly. He was on Oprah at one point, and it was towards the end of his life. And it is... I don't know if Oprah was just tone deaf or what. She's like, Lee, let me ask you, when are you going to settle down with a nice woman? I'm like, is this some sort of because of you and Gayle King thing, or like what's going on? And he's like, I would tell my mother someday I will meet a woman, and it reminds me of this song, and he would just drop into a track, and I'm like,
Flight of the Bumblebee.
Like, Oprah, wake the F up. Come on. Where's this coming from?
She didn't see the flash and fuchsia signs in the room.
I mean, but I was in...
Rainbow farts coming
real quick, because it'll just to show you how big he was.
Laughing at that one. Yeah.
Just to show you how big he was. I was in Palm Springs...
Where he died, by the way.
He did. 3 weeks ago. Getting my passport set up at the Palm Springs Library.
Yes.
And as we're leaving, Michelle and I are walking out. They have a placard up on a stand, and it's a book signing and reading from this author like Anne Smith.
Yeah, you were telling us about that.
Right. And it was being held at the Liberace home. And then in parentheses, it said... He lived there from 68 to 75. But he's so big today that they would still be like, he probably had 5 houses in Palm Springs. He didn't die in this one, obviously. But it's still mentioned, either for locals or whatever, the Liberace home. Yeah. From 1968 to 74.
It's mentioned in West Dallas, too. The Liberace.
Why are they mentioning this?
It's on like 42nd Street or something like that.
And it's like 51 years ago. I
don't know who Liberace's current fan base is. I really don't. But, yeah, huge. icon.
I would think there's that Stonewall segment that's still like, you know what, we're not letting go. It's like Barry Manilow. His fan base was young girls who were like, oh my God, I'm in love with Barry and his puppy. He had the beagle and this and that. And now he's 80. And I saw him 2 years ago and he was amazing. I would go see him tomorrow. But he lives in Palm Springs and he flies in and out every show. He does not stay at Westgate. His contract is, you take me back down to the airport, I fly home, then tomorrow you come get me on a plane, I fly in. It's a 25-minute flight. So it's one of those things where it just works out for him.
I have no idea why my camera's gone. It just went away. I have no idea. I know why. The cat's under the table messing with the USB. That's why.
There you go.
Darn cat.
Welcome to Feral Cam 4000. Yeah.
I think your cat is saying stick a fork in it now.
Yeah, you can't say it.
Even I'm ready to be like, I don't want to wing it anymore. I'm talking Barry Manilow's fan base.
All right.
Hey, if you like Elvis, you like Liberace.
We went from AC/DC to Liberace.
Yeah, we
I tell you, this show covers it all. The gamut is huge.
We got it all up in here.
No, that's a great point about Liberace, though. He was, and I remember reading and seeing it, he was the highest paid entertainer ever in the country in the 50s when he was in Las Vegas. And it was something like $50,000 a show.
But look who he was up against too. You get the Rat Pack, you get Sinatra, Dean Martin's coming and going.
No, the mid 50s, they weren't that big. Those guys hit later.
And we're back.
Like that whole cat, like when the Vegas Rat Pack thing, that's like early to mid 60s. So I mean, 50s wise, he was up against Elvis.
So I'm thinking Mickey.
Mickey who?
Mickey Jaguar.
Well, for the cat?
Yeah.
All right, quick one. I'll leave you guys on this one because I think you need something after this disparaging moment of Brian's.
Mick Jaguar. I thought it was fun. I don't know.
Colonel Tom Parker was Elvis's agent. And what he did, which is still to this day applicable and fascinating, he started calling casinos in Las Vegas in the 50s. And saying, hey, are you guys showing Elvis Presley at your casino? No, we're not. Okay. Next casino. Hey, is Elvis Presley
I don't want to book there. Yeah.
No. He went through all the casinos repeatedly.
It was only 3 of them.
Changed his voice, the whole 9 yards. Hey. Then he waited about 4 days. Hey, how you doing? It's Colonel Tom Parker. I represent Elvis Presley. Oh, my God, do you? Yeah, no, we'd like to book him.
So he was like Karen at the gig who wants to hear the song that no one wants to hear and keeps sending her friends up every 2 minutes to ask for the same song.
She was. The difference
Colonel Tom Parker started that jam.
He did, 100%. But the difference is he got Elvis booked. And if you're at my wedding, Karen's track's never going to get played.
And on that note, let's put a fork in it, guys. Thanks for tuning in for the... I'm sorry?
Did the cat seat Damon's chord?
I think so. I mean, he's here. He's innocent, but...
Here you go, Karen.
Yeah. And before we go, we'd like to thank DJ Event Planner for, of course, sponsoring the show. So we'd like to just make sure we get them in there. Thank them. Please check out the list of sponsors below and pay them a visit. Keep us on the air. Thank you.